Hi, this is Cal Ripken Jr., and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
Special edition of the ML Sports Platter here on a Preakness Saturday as we get set for the big race later today. Who better to talk to than Todd Haight, the terrific handicapper and insider for horse racing, Batavia Downs Gaming, and Western New York OTB, proud ML Sports Platter sponsors. Todd, welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. So from a pure betting standpoint, the Medina Spirit situation fits in how?
Well, it's sad for the game, let's face it. I mean, you're talking about an amazing colt that nobody really wanted. He was purchased for $1,000 as a yearling, which is ridiculous. He went to an auction. The owners were prepared to spend up to $50,000 for him. They didn't even have to do that. They only got him for $35,000. And here he is racing against all these royally bred blue bloods in the sport, and he beats them. He holds them all off. 3 horses take a shot at him coming down the lane, and he digs in and he fights them off. And he wasn't supposed to, based on his breeding and everything. And he's just an overachiever. And instead of talking about the amazing performance, we're talking about headlines of the Derby winner was drugged, and an ex-president calling him the horse a junkie, and all this ridiculous stuff that we shouldn't be talking about. But unfortunately, it happened, and I think your listeners deserve an explanation, so we can talk about it.
Yeah. So your overall feeling on it is what? I mean, should there be penalties? Obviously, I'm not condoning, what happened, and I think Baffert obviously probably let something slip. I don't know if it was arrogance or what, but there's a part of me that says, man, it was like 1/1,000,000th of a piece of a drug that was in him, and it didn't make him win the race. But by the same standpoint, there are rules and there's situations you have to follow. How do you feel about it moving forward?
Well, I'm in agreement with you. It is a totally legal medication. It wasn't injected. If it was injected into a joint or a ligament or something like that, absolutely, I would feel different than having some salve rubbed on a horse's behind because he's got a skin rash, and somehow 21 picograms, as you said, get into the horse's system, which absolutely did not cause him to win this race. He won this race because he had the heart of a champion. And again, if the split sample, which they'll take a second sample, if that comes back positive, which I don't know why it wouldn't, then he will be disqualified from the win. He'll be placed 19th, and the owner will lose $1.8 million. Baffert will lose his commission, $180,000, and Mandaloon and the record books will be the winner. However, this will go back in court like it did in 1968 when Dancer's Image was the first horse under the wire. He was found to have a painkiller in him. It went to court, a 2-year battle, and finally the courts ruled that, no, you did not win because of this medication, and forward pass. His name is in the record books, and I would think the same thing will happen to Medina Spirit. Now, he's hired a very good attorney. Greg Robertson is a great equine attorney, and his case will simply be that this medication, the 21 picograms, did not cause him to win this race. He won this race fair and square. Even though he violated a rule, he was twice over the legal limit. It's not why he won. So we'll see how the courts go. But I feel bad for the owner because he's going to have a $1.8 million check that should be in his bank account. It's going to be in escrow until they make a final decision.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's look at the rest of the field. How about some horses you like in this race from not only a betting standpoint, but perhaps to make some noise and threaten here, some underrated horses in the field, Todd, to go with?
Well, the 2 things to know about the Preakness Stakes. It's by far the most formful of the 3 Triple Crown races. The favorite wins at an amazing 50%. The national average is 33%. And the new shooters, horses that did not race in the Derby, they normally win at 25%, where the horses that are coming out of the Derby win about 75%. Now, the last 15 years, that's changed a little bit as more and more horses from the Derby aren't running in the Preakness. That number's dropped down to 66% for Derby horses, 33% for non-Derby horses. Last year, the filly, Swiss Skydiver, did not run in the Derby, and she won the race. However, the horse I'm looking at is the 10 Concertor. He's also trained by Bob Baffert. Now, this horse was highly touted, much higher touted than Medina Spirit, heading down the Kentucky Derby prep races. In fact, he went off at 1-5 in the Arkansas Derby. He took the lead coming down the stretch, and he just fell apart late. If he would have won the Arkansas Derby, he probably would have been the favorite in the Kentucky Derby. And now you're going to get 5-2, 3-1 on him. He's got an outside post. He's got Mike Smith. it's all systems go. However, here's the problem. Concert Tour's best races are when he makes the front. Medina Spirit, the Derby winner, his best races are when he makes the front. They're both trained by Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert is not telling us which one is going to the front. They both can't go to the front. So I'd like to know which one is going to the front. They're separate owners. Will they kill each other? I would hope two Hall of Fame jockeys, John Velazquez and Mike Smith, won't kill each other and set it up for someone else. So that's what makes this race a little bit difficult to handicap, is I would like to know who's going to the front. Now, personally, I think Concert Tour is a little bit faster. He's got the angle to cut over, so maybe he'll make the lead. If he makes the lead, I don't think he'll lose. If Medina Spirit makes the lead, he'll be awfully tough. Now, a horse that we were talking about in your show for the Derby was Midnight Bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that horse was training up a storm. There were two horses, and again, we gave Mandaloon a big push on your show a couple weeks ago. Midnight Bourbon, Mandaloon were the two horses that the clockers, people that were around the track in the morning, loved these horses the way they were working. Well, when the gate opened, Midnight Bourbon did not break well, and then Mike Smith took him wide around the track. You can't win going a mile and a quarter racing 5 and 6 wide. It's not going to happen. So we're going to throw that race out. They switched to Irad Ortiz Jr., who I think, in my opinion, is the best jockey in the sport right now. And if he's going to sit third, and if something happens between Medina Spirit and Concert Tour, Midnight Bourbon's going to get first run at the lead, and he's going to be awfully tough to beat. Now, he's 5-1. Another horse that he ran okay in the Derby, and he fits that profile of Derby runners winning the Preakness, is Keep Me in Mind. Now, he is a deep closer, so he's going to need a fast pace up front. I don't know if he'll get it, but if he does, he is improving at the right time. And his trainer, Robertino Diodoro, who's a very good trainer, wins at about 30%. He likes this horse. He's heading in the right direction. So if you're looking for a long shot, again, he's going to be last early, and you might be cussing me halfway down the backstretch. But if you see fractions of 22-4, 46-1, then you should see Keep Me in Mind making a late run at a big, big price.
Todd Haight on the special Saturday edition for the Preakness Stakes, Batavia Downs Gaming and Western New York OTB, the handicapper and insider here on the ML Sports Platter. Just a couple more for you, Todd. I know you got a full slate here as we record this. You've been to Pimlico, right?
I've never been.
You haven't been?
Others,
okay.
But I've been to Belmont, and I've been to I was never a big Baltimore Orioles fan, so I just stayed away from Baltimore.
I didn't know if I was going to get your impressions of it. I went and saw California Chrome win the Preakness, and it's a cool, it's a cool place. It's nostalgic, but then you look around, you're like, and then you go to Saratoga, and you're like, well, yeah, here we go again, But, measuring everything up to Saratoga is probably unfair to begin with.
Correct.
Let's get into, this is obviously about half the field, right? I mean, in terms of how many horses the Derby has, the Preakness is smaller. We know why. Do you look at a smaller field differently, from the jockey standpoint, when wagering? In other words, this jockey's better at this in a 20-horse field, so now maybe this is the strategy in a 10-horse field, and I wouldn't take this horse and this jockey because of whatever strategy they use in a smaller field. Does that play into it?
Well, it does a little bit, but I think the thing you have to look at is, as far as road trouble, why was Midnight Bourbon 5-6 wide? Because there were so many horses in the inside of him because of that big, bulky field that he was forced to. Now, on a shorter field, he shouldn't have that kind of trip. So as far as a truer race, I think a shorter field does lead to a truer race. So that's why the Derby is so unpredictable sometimes because, you can't predict what's going to happen at the start. How did we know that Essential Quality was going to come out at the start and rock your world so hard that the jockey lost an iron? I mean, you can't predict stuff like that. And that could also happen in a 10-horse field. But as far as the way the race is going to be run, you have to believe a shorter field leads to a truer running style and a running race. So, and again, I think that could be a reason why the Preakness is so formful. The Preakness is unbelievable. Do you know the longest shot ever to win the Preakness is 23-1 in the history of the Preakness? That's not a very big long shot.
Wow.
In 2005, Mine That Bird Giacomo was 50-1. In 2009, Mine That Bird was 50-1 in the Derby. So bigger field definitely leads to different results. So it's just crazy. Hard to believe in 146 years or whatever, the longest shot, just 23-1. In the Belmont, it's like 70-1. So it's by far, it's a formful race. It's okay to go to OTB. You can go to OTB starting today, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and for advanced wagering. And then tomorrow, of course, the OTB is open at 10 a.m. You can wager right until the last horse goes in the gate at 6:50, or you can go online, BataviaBets.com, and avoid the lines. You don't have to wear a mask, obviously, when you wager from your living room on BataviaBets.com. And if you win, we'll just go to any OTB and we'll pay you. And also, there's a new sign-up bonus, great bonus. Wager $100 and we'll give you a $25 bonus. That's for new users only, and it only takes a minute or two to sign up. So again, I wouldn't. You can play long shots. We did. I will tell you quick, Mike. We had two people that bet a $1 superfecta. The number they bet was 87914, and they turned that $1 bet into $9,000+ before taxes. So listen, you don't have to bet a lot to make a lot, Mike.
Yeah, and that 23-1, you could say, oh, maybe we'll get something to beat that. Well, it would have to be Ram in there at the one spot at the 30-1, to have something that goes a little bit deeper. How about Batavia Downs Gaming and the series you guys have got going on? Just a great place to play, to stay, to eat, and a bunch of music here as we get back to normal in 2021. Todd, tell my listeners more about it.
Yeah, we're going to open up our Park Place Event Center for wagering beginning at noon today. You can wager until 6 o'clock today, and then Preakness Day tomorrow. Park Place will open up at 10 a.m. You can wager right until post. We'll keep that open till 7:30 to cash your tickets. Sunday it'll be open all day from 12 to 5 to cash your tickets. And then Ryan Hassan, our director of marketing, has a nice little party upstairs in Grandstand's bar and grill restaurant and banquet center. $75 deal. You'll get yourself $25 back in free play, a $10 wager on the Preakness. 3 cocktails, a delicious buffet, a lot going on up there, and you can pay at the door. So that's $75. Reservations are not needed. You can just come. There's plenty of room up there, so that's a nice little party if you want to enjoy it. Proper attire is required, though, as we want you to pretend like you're at Pimlico Racecourse and enjoying Preakness Stakes Day 2021.
Very cool. Handicapper insider Todd Haight, Batavia Downs Gaming, and, of course, Western New York OTB, the GM, doing a great job here on the Saturday special, the Preakness Stakes on the ML Sports Platter. Todd, always appreciate you, bud.
All right, take care. Have a great day.
The ML Sports Platter is brought to you by our great friends over at the Al and Angus Pub. Make sure you go check them out. Best darn Angus burger in town. They've got wraps and entrees, great beers on tap in the bottle and in the can as well at the Al and Angus Pub, home of the best darn Angus burger in town. We're also presented by Bryant and Stratton College, Ken's Auto Detailing, and Dave Choate Artwork. Log on to DaveChoateArt.com. That's DaveChoateArt.com. Get all of his prints. He's got some originals up there, all sports. I'm telling you, man, these caricature drawings are spectacular. I own a few. It's really great because you can spend, $5 to $10 on an order and get maybe a couple of your favorite players. For example, I have a Don Mattingly and a Derek Jeter, 4x6s. They cost just a few bucks. You buy a frame for $5. You put it on your shelf as a part of your collection. Literally changes the game. It just looks cool, and you didn't spend a lot of money. So make sure you go there. Support painters, artists, local musicians. It's still a tough time out there. So go support Dave Choate Art, and of course, get him on Twitter as well. A proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Thanks again to Todd Haight. I'm Mike Lindsley. Preakness Stakes later today as you listen to this. It's a special Saturday edition of the ML Sports Platter. Quick little interview with Todd Haight to get you ready for it. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.